How's it, grade 10s? We are now going on to factorization, which you guys should know from last year with grade 9, okay? So we're just a continuation of that. So if we have a look, just to recap, factorization is the opposite of simplification or your products. So if you had a look here, this is what you guys have just been doing for me lately, is distributing that 3a into the bracket. So 3a times a squared will give us a 3a cubed. Then 3a times 2 will give us plus 6a. But now what happens if they give us this question over here? And they said, okay, cool. What did you guys distribute? Or what was the question for the distribution to get this answer? And that's what we're going to do. We're going to work backwards. So there's that one's answer. Now we're using it as the question. And we work backwards to get back to the answer or the question for that one there. Okay, so that's basically what factorization is. It's just the opposite of your distribution. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to look at is your common factors. We're going to take it out from terms. Okay, and then we've just got 3 examples here that I'm going to work through with you. All right, so if we look at example 1a, just going to copy it down. Okay, and that's what they're asking us to factorize, is this 4x squared minus 16y. So we've got 2 terms here. Here's our one term, here's our second term. And what we're going to do, grade 10s, is we're going to look for what is common with the 2 terms. So for example, I'm going to look at the numbers, which is 4 and 16. Then I'm going to look at the variables x and y. So what is common with 4 and 16? In other words, what's the highest number that goes into both of them? Well, it's going to be 4. Okay, so I know 4 can go into both 4 and 16. Now I'm going to look at the variables. So we've got x and y. Now there's nothing common with x and y. So we have taken out our common factor. Then what I do is I say to myself, 4 times what will give me 4x squared, or 4x? Well, it must be an x. Then we bring down the negative. 4 times what will give me 16y? Well, 4 times 4 will give me 16, and I need the y. And there you go. We have factorized that by taking out a common factor. If we look at question B, okay, again, so we need to factorize this expression. Okay, so the same thing applies. I'm going to look at the numbers, then I'm going to look at the variables. So our numbers are 3, 6, and 12. What is the highest number that goes into 3, 6, and 12? Well, it would be 3. Okay, 3 goes into all of them, and it's the highest number that goes into all of them. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my variables. So over here, just remember that a squared means you have 2 a's. A cubed means you've got 3 a's. And then obviously there you just have the 1a, okay? And I'm looking for what is common. Now, here if I take out 2 a's, this one can spare 2 a's because it has 3, but this one can't spare 2 a's. It's only got 1. Then over here, this has got 3 a's. I definitely can't take 3 a's out there. That one's only got 2. And I can't take out 3 here because it's only got 1. Now this one's got 1a. This one's got 1a to spare. And that one's got 1a to spare. So a is common. All right. Then I go on to the next variable, which is b, or b squared. That doesn't have a b. That doesn't have a b. So that is not common. So I've taken out my highest common factor. Okay. Now, grade 10s, I say to myself, 3a times what will give me 3a squared? Well, it would have to be an a. All right, so 3a times a gives me 3a squared. Plus 3 times what gives me 6? It's 2. Now I've taken out 1a. I've got 3, so I need 2 over here. And then I've just got the b squared. Okay, 3 times what will give me minus 12. That's minus 4. I've taken out an A. There's an A. I don't need an A. All right. And there's our answer being factorized. Look at example C. Okay, so with example C, we've got this leading negative over here. So we have to take out the negative as a common factor. Just make that as a rule of thumb, guys. So we must take out a negative just because our leading one is negative. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is look at my numbers. So we've got 8, 4, 16. What's the highest number that goes into 8, 4, and 16? It is 4. Okay, this one's got 1x, no x's, 3 x's, so x is not common because this one does not have an x. Now, this one has 1y, this one has 2 y's, and this one has 4 y's. Okay, so very similar to what I did over here. I'm going to look for what is common with all 3 of these. Well, it's just the 1y, so I'm going to take out 1y. Okay, and that is what is common, or your highest common factor. Now, just remember with the negative, we have to take it out because of the leading one here is negative. So that's going to change things inside this bracket here, grade 10s, because remember, if you multiply a negative in, you've got to change your sign. So minus 4 times what will give you minus 8? Well, it has to be positive 2. This one's got an x, doesn't have an x, we need the x. It's got 1y, got 1y, we don't need the y. Okay, now a negative times what will give us a positive? It's a negative. Okay, 4, we've got 2 y's, 1 y, so we need 1 y over here to make up those 2 there. Then a negative times what will give us a negative? It must be a positive. 4 times what will give us the 16? It's 4. We've got 3 x's here. We don't have any x's there, so we need 3 x's. We've got 4 y's there. We've taken out a y, so we need 3 y's. Okay, and that's your final answer, factorized. So not too bad, grade 10s. Then for homework for me, please. Exercise 1.9, number 1. Just the left-hand column will do for now. Thanks, grade 10s.